Let's talk about videos that are going to get seller leads with the NAR settlement and the ambiguity in the marketplace. A lot of people are wondering what the heck to do with their video content. The assumption is that almost all YouTube videos generate buyers. And a lot of people in the industry are getting fearful about the fate of the buyer's journey. Now, many people know that it's not going to go away, that in my opinion, there's only going to be slight changes, and it's not going to make much of a difference at all. I think ultimately it's going to improve the quality of the industry, the standard of service, and the overall customer journey for our clients. Regardless of opinion, let's talk about videos that will actually get seller leads, because there are a lot of misconceptions around YouTube and the agents that I've helped with their YouTube channels that aren't selling a ton of homes when it comes to listings. So I want to break down the three that are going to be the easiest and the one that most people aren't really expecting. And it's going to be a really good opportunity if you start to capitalize on it. Let's talk all things YouTube and videos that actually get listings. What's up, guys? My name is Chris Caggiano with eXp, and I've trained hundreds of agents every year to leverage video marketing to generate free leads at scale. Now, if you would like exact tutorials on how to leverage ChatGPT in order to generate endless leads on YouTube for free, then just drop a comment below and say free training, and I'll provide you with my free training on how to leverage ChatGPT and your YouTube analytics to make sure that you guarantee that your channel grows and you start to get better results. Now let's talk about video ideas. And there are three that I want to talk about. The first one would be property tours. Now, the misconception here is that property tours get buyers, because the essence of a property tour is to show a house that hopefully a buyer is going to buy. Been in the industry long enough, you know that it's almost never going to happen that somebody buys a house that you just did a tour of. Now, if you're doing new construction homes, then potentially yes. People are going to buy a derivative of the show home that you just toured. But when it comes to resale homes, it's almost never going to happen that a buyer is going to buy a property from the video you just shot. So what does it do? It generates the most listings because people are seeing that the quality of work that you're doing for others, and they want that quality of work for themselves. I see it all the time, and in production, I get listings this way. Because every other agent, based on the general public's perception, we know this isn't true. But people assume that the average agent just uploads a listing to the MLS and lets it become a sitting duck, and they do nothing else. Well, when you start to put out high video content for listings, the average seller is going to say, wow, you're going above and beyond. You're investing into the sale of a property. You're doing something above and beyond the rest, and especially as you begin to build momentum with your YouTube channel. You'll actually be able to leverage that as a selling point in your listing presentations, because you're going to be able to show your clients your YouTube channel and say, hey, I'm getting thousands of more views than the average agent on your property that nobody else is going to get. And so property tours is one of the best ways to generate listing, just by demonstrating quality work and an exact example of your value proposition. Now the next content that works incredibly well, and I know some people are going to be a bit hesitant to, but it works so well, which is going to be market update. Especially right now, you know, the settlement proposal, the interest rates in the future. We've got an election coming up, and there's so much going on right now that it gives you a really good reason to put out data-driven market reports. When it comes to getting the market information, that's where some people get a bit jacked up and they don't know where or how to go about it. I will get to that in a second. But the truth is, with the market reports, you begin to control the narrative. And so if you're talking about how the market is for sellers and how it is for buyers and what people should do going forward that month, well, really, you get to start to control the message about the listing and start to position it as to why it would be a good time to list. but rather who it's a good time to list for, right? Because it's not always a good time for everyone to list. If you do the research, there's always somebody there that it is a good time to list for. And as you can start to tap into these opportunities, it gives you a really cool narrative. You'll be able to control and start to position as to why may be the right time to explore. Now go back to the data. There's actually a couple of different ways you can do this. Like, for instance, MLS like mine, it shows you great data. What's happening with attached, detached, and different areas of the city. What happens is days on the market list, the average sales price, the average inventory, all of that good stuff. It shows it in a really clean way and thus makes it really easy to do videos about it. Now, if you're not in the board and after doing some Google searches, because you have to start there, if you're not in the board that gives you the proper data, then you may have to go a little bit deeper. There's two different options. Now, there's going to be some third-party websites that work really well. But if you're leveraging ChatGPT, and if you're using ChatGPT 4 and some of the AI platforms that really have some relevant, updated information, you can actually just ask it to give you current market data for your market based on the month and the year, and it's going to give you a pretty solid outline. So there's options there, but market reports are working pretty incredibly right now. But the third one is going to be obvious, and that's going to be seller's tips. And I know it sounds obvious, but there's something I want to explain here. What that is, and when it comes to selling a home, what that is when it comes to seller's tips, which is, for example, how to properly sell a house in your city, your state, whatever that looks like, it's a good video to put out on the process of selling a home. In your city, your state, and year. That's the video title. It works very well, but you can also put out different things. If you're in the New York market like mine, or the Florida market, or any other market, you can talk about the best time to sell your house. This is the video that gives listings, because you could talk about the spring, the summer, the fall, the winter, and how that's going to impact the level of the competition on the sale of your house. The inventory, the activity, that kind of stuff. You can talk about the pros and cons of the different times of the year. But again, it gives you that control of the narrative to say, hey, you know, maybe fall is the right time based on your explanation of fall. Well, that means you need to start having these engaging conversations and to be prepared for the fall. So there's a lot of opportunity there when you start to do those reports, when you start to do those videos, to really engage in conversation. Now, the one caveat to that is when you put out content related to seller videos, I can almost guarantee that you're going to get less views. And so that trips people up sometimes, because maybe they're used to getting a couple of hundred views on their videos. They put out a video but a seller strategy and they get like 50 views. And it's kind of like, for example, when you do Google or Facebook ads, seller leads are always more expensive, but it's what you want. And buyer leads are cheaper. They take more time to nurture, more time to convert, and sometimes they just ghost you too. When you start to look at the views of the engagement and the vanity of the metrics and the performance metrics, if you will, related to YouTube videos specific for sellers, I just caution you not to get caught up in those specific to sellers. Because just like pay-per-click being more expensive sellers, the viewership is going to be less seller-specific views, but in most cases, just because it's so targeted. But the good part about that is that it's hyper-targeted to sellers. So even though it's less views, the views are much more intentional. Now what I want to do is I want to unpack the last unorthodox one that is a little bit indirect. And when it comes to leveraging YouTube, it's going to give a lot of people a lot of hope. And as an agent, to generate leads, which is the relocation videos. And these are the lowest hanging fruit. These are the ones that it's easiest to get the views for. And a lot of people are messaging me about, they're all scared because it's all buyers, and they're all scared about what's going to happen. Buyer's commission, right? The firm fixed final answers, we'll get those in July. But for now, it is what it is. Now, what people are not considering is that most relocation buyers are sellers in their own market. And so even though you're putting out relocation videos about the cost of moving to your city, 5 things you didn't know about your city, 5 things you need to know about your city, the pros and cons of moving to your city, all of these typical foundation videos that everybody talks about. Because if you can open up the dialogue with the relocation buyer and say, hey, explain to them that you have a big network of agents and you can help them get the right listing agent in their current market to make this transition as smooth as possible. Well, it's not that you're getting the direct listing, you're getting an indirect listing, which is basically a referral of 25% to basically fire off a text message, a couple of phone calls, and let the other agent do the work. So I just wanted to put that out there because all hope is not lost. It doesn't mean that you can't put the videos out and they're going to go to waste. It's an incredible opportunity. Perspective. So if you have any questions about leveraging YouTube to get listings, drop it in the comments. Respond to 100% of them. We're always happy to help. We want to see you win. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you really want to know how to crush it using YouTube, just check out my next video. I really think you're going to like it. But make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you got some value from this, and I'll see you on the next one.